Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Trogdor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The channel where I, play Pokemon pretty poorly, and yeah, in really random leagues that don't have lots of followings, and I just basically get to make an ass of myself. But you know what? That's kind of what Pokemon is for, right? But I'm here today to do a draft analysis. I always love making draft analysis videos. I really like drafting just in general because, I don't know, that's the reason why I wanted to get into leagues in the first place. So this is the third season of the PTL. Now, we're doing this season pretty shortly after the second season, and we want to have, like, Gen 7 kind of go out with a bang, if you know what I mean. I know there are lots of leagues being like the ultimate conclusion to Gen 7, like 40 people in this epic showdown and all this and that, but really it's like the same cool group of people, and we're all just being like, hey, let's give this generation the final send-off that it deserves. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So I stayed in D2. I got pretty close to being promoted. If I had won my, what do you call it? Come on, tell me, what do you call it? If I had won my quarterfinals games, that's right, thanks for reminding me. If I had won that, I would have gotten promoted. And let's be real, if I won that game, I would have won the whole finals, because the opponent who beat me, Gremlin, he actually went on to become champion. So, you know, everyone else in the playoffs are complete scrubs. He and I were the only competent battlers, and he just got the better of me. But of course, I beat him early in the season, so I beat the champion, so I'm the real champion. Let's be real. So of course, because I'm the real champion, I got to choose which spot in the draft that I would get that, and because I always bribe great with things, so I didn't want to like make it look like I was being too greedy. You know, I could have just been like, oh, I want pick number 1, then I'll get Celesteela. Yeah, okay, spoilers. I want Celesteela. I want it really, really bad. Because I kind of have a couple plans up my sleeve. So there are a few things that I want to do in Gen 7, a few things that I really wanted to try out. I'm going to be doing mostly new things. Just kind of what I wanted to do for the UPBA, but we know how that turned out. Really, really poorly. So, a few things that I want to try out with this pretty badly. So, Celesteela was essential to all that, and it's like, it's the one thing that ever since I drafted my own team in Gen 7, it's like, I want to use Celesteela. Nope, that's not happening. Then again, of course, I could have gotten in the undisclosed Pokemon bad acronym league type thing, but I was like, you know what, Mega Mawile staring me at the face, and I wanted to use that too. I was hoping that this could be my chance. So it will be my chance to get Celesteela. So I decided to not be too greedy, and I told Gray, okay, give me pick number 4. 4 is a good number, and yeah, it gives me a really good shot at getting Celesteela. So that's not the only broken thing that's allowed. We decided to open the floodgates to a bunch of really broken stuff, but then, to be voted upon. We've still got Mawile. We've still got, what do you call it? Oh my god. I always try to have my volume at a reasonable level, but this song is just being unreasonable. So let's, That's a little bit more reasonable. What was I going with this before the music interrupted me? Right, broken stuff. So we've still got broken stuff like Aegislash, but Aegislash isn't good, it's cursed, it's bad. We've still got Tapu Lele, which it's like, I really nearly lost to it in my last week of Season 2 if I hadn't been scummy and toxic stalled it. So we're adding a couple other things. We voted on basically like everything up to like Speed Boost Blaziken or like Battle Bond Greninja, those ridiculous things. We voted on those things, but one more thing decided to slip its way through the floodgates, and that was Deoxys Defense Form, which I'm a fan of that Pokemon. It's like probably the best Spike Setter in the game, and it's like, you know, a fantastic bulky psychic type which eats so many things for breakfast. So basically it's like this final league, we've got a lot of really fun broken things. Oh, and there's Lander's Eye, but due to having used it in the last season, I didn't want to do it back to back. But oh my god, Lando Weavile was just such a good offensive core that it broke through so many things. I loved using that. But okay, so we're pick number 4. How long have I been rambling about this stuff that I want? Okay, long story short, I didn't get Celesteela. It got snibbity snabbed one pick before me, so I had to get the next most broken thing, and that was Tapu Lele. So Tapu Lele is completely broken. It should be banned. It is ridiculous and super scary, and its ability coupled with its stats just make it like the perfect Scarfer, Revenger. Heck, it even gets Calm Mind. Oh god, this Pokemon is just so good. And it's like, the Psychic and Fairy is a really good combo. It has fantastic stab and it gets a lot of great coverage. There's basically no reason to not like this Pokemon. So Lele, it kind of ruined my plan, but then I kind of reconfigured my plan because my original plan was to go Celesteela, Clefable, and like, yeah, that's really, really gross. So I basically had to get Lele and then another really fat Steel type. So you're going to see I'm going to get that in just a sec. But it's not going to completely ruin my initial plan, which I'll reveal at some point. You'll see it. It'll make a lot of sense after my first few picks. So yeah, I got Lele. It's going to be my MVP. It's going to make people wish that it had actually been banned. It's going to be like, it's unfair to everyone else, basically. So I snagged Lele, and I wanted to get a really thick Steel type to pair it with. And somehow it got back to me, Mega Scizor. I especially did not want to let this get back to Jack, who got Tapu Koko again. Who was like, he actually had number 1 pick, so I had to wait all the way back, and it was like getting really, really close, and it's like Mega Scizor, and a lot of people were like, F. So Mega Scizor is a fantastic Pokemon, Bug Steel Technician. Its ability is great, its stats are fantastic, its move pool is... You can do so many things. It's bulky, it's powerful, it's... On first glance, it doesn't make a lot of sense with Tapu Lele because due to the psychic terrain, Mega Scizor's Bola Punch is just like null and void and empty. But, Lele's psychic terrain isn't going to be up 24/7. Just because I have it on my team doesn't mean that it's just going to be like a thing for all of my battles. So... it's still threatening without that. Like, I still get powerful stab that isn't Bola Punch. And, terrain doesn't last forever. Mega Scizor can still be a fantastic revenge killer. It can still set up Swords Dance and Roost and Defog. And Defog, yeah, it gets other cool moves. Like, heck, it can even run Hidden Power, even though its special attack is like Poo-Poo. It also gets Curse. And I think Curse Scizor is worth trying instead of Swords Dance, because look at that defense set. That's 140 base defense, and that and like reliable recovery, good hazard removal. I'm just really excited to use Mega Scizor. It is 4 times weak to fire, but that is going to be a non-issue for my team. So next I wanted to grab Jeff Winger, my favorite wingman of all time. And by the way, I've got some nicknames figured out. This is Gurren. And this is like basically a secret nuke version FL. It's, yeah, my saucy nuke. Well, not saucy, but it's like disgusting nuke, Gurren Mark II, and then Jeff, the wingman. So Torrentee is an interesting Pokemon, mono flying type, which I'm a huge fan of, and really fantastic stats, really speedy. I definitely want my team to be speedy, and great move pool, regen. Hurricane is kind of like a bad move to rely on all the time, but it gets really great moves otherwise. It's another good defogger. Like, I've got 2 of the best defoggers on my team in 3 picks in a row because I've been really, really bad about keeping hazards off my side of the field, and I'm not going to have that be a problem anymore. So Torrentee, it also gets really great momentum. Like, Scizor and Torrentee both like get U-turns, so I'm just going to be like spamming that nonstop. And Torrentee can potentially be a good Z user if my budget will allow for it. There are other things I have in mind that I want to be Z users, but Torn-T would be a fantastic one of those. And it's always a mon that I have a lot of trouble prepping for, just because it's so versatile in the offensive type of moves that it can be, and it can also be a really bulky pivot. So yeah, that's a Pokemon that I'm gonna use, hopefully successfully, but I haven't like used it before. I've used its younger brother in my other Bean Appreciation League mostly for a supporting role, but I want to use Torn-T mostly offensively. So next up, my secret plan is about to come full circle. I got Pelipper. That's right, I wanted to draft Rain this season. Something that I've always wanted to try out. So Scizor, fire weakness, who cares? Torn-T, Hurricanes, 100% accurate. And yeah, wow. Pelipper is, it's basically just there for the rain. It's, an okay Pokemon otherwise. It's another defogger, but let's be real, I'm not going to use that. It, gets U-turn. It's decently bulky. Overall, it's an okay Pokemon, but you get this for one reason, and that's to set up the rain so that other things can come in and just clean house. So yeah, that's Pelipper. Not much to say about that. So my next pick, obviously, because I'm drafting Rain, it's really important for me to have good ground types on my team. There's one in particular that I had my eye on that I really, really, really wanted to get, and that was Crocodile. So normally it can wait a few rounds, but there was a certain doo-doo dirtbag who decided to go mono ground for this draft. Drafting mono type. So ground types, it became pretty clear early on that it's like, oh, these are a hot commodity. So I needed to get mine ASAP, but it was more important for me to snag Pelipper, and also just due to the positioning of where I'm in the draft. It's like, certain things are safe for me, and based on what other people have gotten thus far. So I knew that I needed to snag the ground type that I wanted earlier. But of course, Crocodile was taken from me not long before I wanted it. So I had to look around at other potential ground types that would work well for my team. And I ended up getting Big Chungus. This is actually going to be nicknamed Karen because Karen Chungus is the biggest Chungus of them all. Diggersby, normal ground type, so normal spam is actually really fantastic. Ghost immunity always appreciated on teams and stuff, and there are just a lot of teams that Diggersby 2-hit KOs them. Between Return and Earthquake and I don't know what other moves it gets. Does it use any other moves? It basically just raffle stomps an entire team. Could be Banded, could be Scarf, Life Orb, Expert Belt. Heck, it even gets Spikes. I could lead Diggersby, scare out something that my opponent leads, and it's Spikes. There you go. Yeah, it's mostly just there for the huge power. Let's be real. That's what Diggersby does. It does one thing, it does it well, and it just raffle stomps entire teams. So next up, Drapion. So because I wasn't able to get Crocodile, I needed a good dark type, of course, and I've been having a lot of fun using Drapion in the UPBA. Well, I used it in one battle so far, and it's been fun. It actually did really well. I like the knockoff spam. It's got good stats all around. 95 speed is... It's pretty respectable. It can be offensive, it can be defensive. It's another potential Z user if my budget allows for it, but good knockoff spam. And a couple great immunities and Psychic, and I think that's it. But yeah, I know type charts well. It's also my 6th pick, but the overall 69th pick of the entire draft. So make jokes about that if you will. But yeah, Drapion, it actually fits quite well typing wise. Also gives me a poison type, so I can just raffle stomp fairies. Completely neutral to them. Fairies are standard good knockoff switch-ins, but Drapion just kind of laughs at that. Yeah. So next pick doesn't come as a surprise. I grabbed Kingdra. About time, right? So Kingdra is my rain sweeper. I really wanted to try out Kingdra. It has infinite speed. It's got really good stab in water and dragon. It's got like one weakness in that two weaknesses, dragon and fairy. So, you know, it's another thing that I can give the Z crystal, which I actually in fact did give Kingdra the Z crystal. That was non-negotiable. So it's just like Z Draco Meteor or Z Outrage or Z Hydro Pump Vortex type thing. You know, it doesn't have a fantastic move pool, but it's like its dual stabs are just good enough on their own that it just like blows through weakened teams because it can't be outsped. Like, except maybe like unburdened users like Halucha and stuff, but yeah, Kingdra, it's just fantastic. I'm excited to use it a lot. So that's that. And what did I get next? Let's see. Oh yeah, Frostlass. So I was paying really close attention to my type charts because I just don't want it to be super water heavy. Like, I don't want it all to just be like, you know, Swift Swim users. And, you know, I wanted things to be balanced. And Frostlass is another important speed tier in 110. Frostlass has, it's a great lead spikes user. It's a great, it has priority in Ice Shard. Basically, I wanted like a little bit more speed. I wanted the Ghost type because I want to be able to switch into fighting types a little bit more easily. Ice type is super handy too, especially because, you know, speedy offensive check to things like Garchomp and other 4 times weak dragons. And I think it gets Ice Shard. Like, its attack and special attack are the same stats, so it can run physical things just as well as special, even though it almost always runs like Shadow Ball and Ice Beam and Destiny Bond. Don't sleep on Destiny Bond. That's a fantastic move that Frostlass uses as well, and it's just a really good spikes season. That's kind of what I want it for, in addition to the typing. And I think overall it's just gonna work well for me. I've used it in like one small league before, which I had a lot of fun in, but yeah, that's Frostlass. So next up, who did I get next? This was, yes, I got my good buddy Moltres. So you're thinking, Moltres in the rain? Good luck with that. Moltres with Stealth Rocks? Ha ha ha. Well, first of all, Moltres does more than just fire off Fire Blasts, which it does a really good job of that, but it does a lot more than that. I have 2 of the best defoggers in the game. I've got Scizor, I've got Torn T. I've also got Pelipper, but, you know, who cares? So I've got 2 really good defoggers. And even though Rain does kind of like poop on Moltres' Fire Blast, it gets Hurricane. Moltres gets Hurricane, don't forget about that. So it's still got a really powerful stab, it's got a decent move pool, and it's also a fantastically bulky Pokemon. Like, don't sleep on Moltres' bulk. Even though it is super weak to rock types, and, what do you call it? Water types, but I have all the water types in the game. Like, no one else was allowed to draft water types. So because it's got all of the, despite its weaknesses, it fits really well on my team, I think. Like I said, I've got the defoggers. This could actually be like a cleaner for me in the rain. So it's like, my Hurricanes are 100% accurate in the rain, and once the rain goes away, my Fire Blasts are just like boom, 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 boom. And, you know, I could be running like a sneaky power Solar Beam, which, you know, it's neutered in the rain, but, you know, the rain goes away, and then I pop something with the Solar Beam, and it's like, bye-bye. So, you know, I actually think it works really well with my team overall. Synergizes, like, you know, it's, what do you call it? Like, I don't care about rocks. I don't care about my Fire Blast. I already talked about that. And it's just a really fantastic Pokemon that I've been wanting to use in draft for a while. And, you know, 90 speed is pretty good. It can be a fantastic choice scarfers on weeks that I don't want to bring rain. So we'll see about that. And, yep, Moltres, everybody. So we're at pick number 9. We need 10 Mons minimum and maximum 12. So I could make my very last pick right here. I don't have my points showing up on the bar here, but I have 10 more. So that could get me something decent, or I could just get, like, you know, a couple mid-tier things. I could do this and that. But there are a few holes that I need to patch up. I need a fast electric type, which, you know, the good ones are taken early on. I would like a grass type, and I would like a rock type. So I could fill everything into like a couple picks, but in fact, I'm going to start off by getting Electrode. So Electrode is a thing that goes boom. It's fast, is really fast, like faster than light fast. That's an exaggeration. It is actually a good backup rain setter. Like, it's fast enough that it can run Rain Dance with a Damp Rock, and like that's what I used to do on rain teams back in like Gen 4 and 5, is Electrode would be my backup rain setter. Otherwise, like, it doesn't do much. Like, it Volt Switch, it hits Thunderbolt, and it goes Boom. So it's just like a couple checkboxes that I had with, you know, I want to get the Sonic, I want to get the Zap Zap, I want something that can go Boom, I would like a backup rain setter, but I'm not going to draft 2 Drizzlers. So Electrode is actually really great for that. And yeah, so I still have a few points left. Electrode is actually a really cheap pick, but I got it here because like I wanted it, and it could have been one of those memes that a few people were like looking at and be like, ha, no one will get so-and-so, no one will get this. So I just grabbed it when I did, even though the next pick was arguably more important for my team, and that was Ludicolo. So Ludicolo is coming in as my second Swift Swim user, and it does a lot of damage. Like, Ludicolo in the rain is pretty scary. Like, Hydro Pump and Giga Drain are fantastic stabs. It also gets moves like Ice Beam and I think Focus Miss, but I just needed more than one Swift Swim user, especially because it's not as weak to electric as like Ludicolo. So between my 3 main rain abusers, Pelipper, Kingdra, Ludicolo, the typing isn't awful between the 3 of them. Like, they kind of check some weaknesses, but, you know, not really. And I do have a ground type. I do have a couple resists for grass as well. And yeah, Ludicolo is just, it's just great. Like, Giga Drain is fantastic. I could even run like a bulky Rain Dish set, but let's be real, I'm going to be probably doing like Swift Swim 9 times out of 10. So draft is coming to a close. There are like only 2 teams between this pick and my next pick that haven't filled out their rosters, and I've still got a few points. So I was basically like, okay, there's one thing that I want, and that's something with rocks. Could use some more stealth rocks. I don't think I have any stealth rocks except for, no, Diggersby doesn't get stealth rocks, it just gets spikes. So I need a rocker. If it was a rock type, that would be nice. If it was a little bit thick, that would be nice. So I ended up snagging Rhydon as my final pick of the draft, and actually the final pick of the draft, the entire draft overall. So I do get that rock type, I do get rocks. I actually get like a really, really thick mon, like 120 base defense boosted by Eviolite, like, yes please. So Rhydon has that. It's also another ground type, so you can't just like bring a Tapu Koko and just like blow me back. You can't just bring like a Z Xurkitree or whatever, or like Mega Man Electric, but you know, Mega Man Electric with HP Grass is kind of alright, but you know, not so much versus Ludicolo. So with my 2 ground types and all of my rain abusers, it's like you can't just bring like electric with HP Grass or HP Ice. You got to be careful about that. So Rhydon's going to be fantastic. Like, it gets Mega Horn. I need to remember that. So just in case someone else doesn't. But yeah, Rhydon's pretty cool. I'm glad that it actually fit my budget perfectly. And the lightning rod ability. Let's not forget about that. Like, I get the well, I'm double immune to I'm immune to electric already, and my special attack is Poo-Poo. So yeah, lightning rod is kind of pointless on Rhydon. Rockhead and Reckless are much better abilities. What was I saying about that? So yeah, that rounded out my draft. So just as a quick recap, we have Tapu Lele, Mega Scizor, Tornadus Therian, Pelipper, Diggersby, Drapion, Kingdra, Frostlass, Moltres, Electrode, Ludicolo, and Rhydon. I think it's a solid squad. I think Lele is clearly going to be MVP. Like, you know, it just kind of mess things up with Diggersby and Rain, and Lele just comes in and be like, bye-bye. I think Scizor's going to put in the work. I think Torntia is going to put in the work. I think my Raincore is going to be fantastic, and everything else is going to, like, everything's going to have some time to shine on my team. And I'm really looking forward to it. As a farewell to Gen 7, probably, unless Gen 8 becomes, like, some kind of horror show. Like, imagine a pre-Pokebank Gen 6. That's what it's looking like it's going to be. with just like, oh, it's integrated with Pokemon Go. Anyway, that's the team. Look forward to week 1, which is going up in a week. Look forward to, well, no, I'm not doing separate team builders. I don't have the time for that. Look forward to the battles. Check out everyone else who's participating in this. And subscribe for more content like this. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below if you got anything to say. Otherwise, I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.